Hi everyone, Stan from Warlord Games. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to do an unboxing and a bit of a review of the Tiger 1H, the early production Tiger from Warlord Games, which is a resin model. And later on in the vid I wanted to go into some future plans as well. So for a start, what you're looking at is actually the main body itself, plus the main armament of the model. So I have cleaned the resin gates and that off this model. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it around and zoom in on some of the detail for you. As you can see, it has got no zimmerit on it, being the early pattern, the nice high cupola, some of the early detailing on the vehicle as well. It's a really nice stuff. Another thing I want to talk about is the track detail. So track detail was one of the things that I guess has been a bit of a balancing act. When you look online, a lot of people basically having discussions about the plastic alternatives in 156. So that being the Rubicon and the Warlord Games plastic offering from Warlord and Italy. So I think this is a genuine third option for anyone that wants to do either an early or is happy to have an early model in there that's survived the early part of the war, maybe a bit of an ace commander or something, and it's lasted longer. Best thing about this, I find, is that you don't really have to choose. You can sort of get the best of both worlds. So here's, for a start, there's the finely detailed tracks, which are excellent. And if I zoom in on the details of the wheels here, you can actually see that they appear to have some depth. They don't look like they're one piece. So that's another thing that Rubicon's definitely has over the Warlord plastic one. I don't think it looks bad on the Warlord one, but I think Rubicon definitely has a better model in that regard. So pluses and minuses of this kit over the others. So basically, you have got the combination of the good road wheels and the finely detailed tracks. Now, if you're going early like I am, chances are that you might be going for like a summer Op Citadel, or you're going Tunisia or something like that, which means you may be in a summer environment. It doesn't have too much dirt and stuff on the track, so it's not always easy to hide the track detail, or the lack of it, on the Rubicon one with mud if you're not generating that much mud because of the environment you're in. So that's one plus point for me for this vehicle. The second one is, and if I go to the top here, looking down on the vehicle, it has got very clean grills and vents at the top with some nice depth to them. And if we have a look at the Warlord Games plastic, if I put it down next to it, you can see there's a definite size and quality and cleanliness of casting there as well. So really nice and clean. And that was one of the advantages the Rubicon one had over the Warlord plastic one. So to be, and of course the ability to, or the fact it hasn't got zimmerit on it, whereas the Warlord plastic one has, as you can see here. So the ability to get the best of both worlds there, I think is a fantastic thing for this resin version. Now, those are some of the pluses. Let's look at one of the others. So, the tank commander himself is most definitely in 156 scale. Yeah, if I put him into the top of the vehicle, you can see it's really pleasing, and it has got a much more in scale to his vehicle himself than the 28mm figures you quite often get with these. Of course, if you put a miniature right next to it, you're going to be in a tough spot then, but that looks really pleasing with the vehicle. And if I compare that to the to the one of the other Warlord tank sprues. This one here is the Tiger 2 Commander. You can see he's definitely smaller, much nicer. However, one drawback is the head. Okay, so that's a bit of a con, because the head itself is a bit of a horse's head. It's very elongated with a very pointy chin, so a bit of a shame, but I'm sure we can make that work. It's a nice commander. I probably have this tank buttoned up, but there's a chance I might pin or magnetize it. Let's just give myself an option. So yeah, that's another one of the pros for this vehicle, in my opinion. So the cons, the arguments against, so to speak. The first one is the resin feed gates. So they are quite big. I have cut them off, but I'm going to zoom in and tell you about them and the issues which I had with them. So for a start, here's the first one on the back of the turret box here. So as you can see, I have carved them away. Generally a little bit more filing and detailing to do. They can be filled in with super glue and green stuff, so it's not a huge problem. It's just, look, I mean, in reality they probably picked a good place for it, because that's where they're going to get dings and stuff, but, you know, it's a shame that they're there in the first place, I guess. The second one, so some of the resin feed gates. First one, there's a really, really big one just in here. So if I take that away, and you can see where that one's positioned. So it's quite challenging to cut that away without accidentally taking some of the, and you can see I've taken a little bit of that with it there. Yeah. Some other feed gates that are around here, well, there's a little bit extra extra resin around the top of the tracks. That, however, is in a convenient position, because that can be the little bit of the mud and stuff that we wanted. Right, so one more thing which I'm going to show you here now, if I can put this together one-handed perhaps. No, so I'm going to put this down so you can have a look at it from here while I do it one-handed. Oh, with two hands I should say. Right, so on this side of the vehicle you can see that at the front here the mud guard, or the guard, is in the correct position at the front of the glacis plate there. Is that the glacis plate? Okay, but it's level there, and you can also see at the back that the guard there correctly sits on the back of the vehicle, and you can see it's got a little gap there, as was correct, between the rear guard and the track guard on the side. Now, on the other side of the vehicle we had a problem. So the left track assembly was a little bit shorter. So you had two choices: make it level at the front, or make it level at the back, so you can get that track guard in position. Now, what you can see here is I have actually decided to be stubborn as hell and do neither, and I have cut off, there you go, just brought that into the picture, the rear track guard. So now I can take that and glue it on to where it's supposed to be at the back there. Using my fingers, I can't get in the correct position, but yeah, it's going to be in the right position there. To do that though, what I had to do is cut down here very, very carefully, making sure I didn't take a chunk out of the side guard there, and not destroying this lovely little lip here that I'm running my finger on, because that's the one that sits flat against the rear. So it was quite a delicate operation, although there's big bits of mold and stuff on it. So for that I recommend two things. I recommend a sharp knife and a cutting board. Here we go, here's one I prepared earlier. because what's going to happen is you are most likely going to snap off your scalpel blade. So make sure you got some safety glasses, or because it's sunny outside my window, as you can see, I just threw on the old sunnies to do it. Yeah, good decision, a little bit of time taken, and that worked out perfectly. As you can see, I'm really happy with it, really happy I've done that. I can get the detail I want on there now, and I'll be happy. I would have been hedging my bets otherwise, and I would have been settling, and hey, if you're going to do what I'm going to do with this model, then you're not about settling anyway. So the whole reason I bought this is because I didn't want to settle for poor tracks on the Rubicon one. I didn't want to settle for the poor grill and the road wheels that went interleaved correctly with the other one. So I wanted the best of both worlds. So there you go, greedy Dan, eh? So now I've taken that off. Actually, you can see where the gates are on there. So they're quite big, quite difficult to remove. So if you're a beginner, get somebody more experienced to help you. If you're a youth or a child, then it's probably not a job for you guys. Okay, unless of course you're more experienced than some of the adults, which could well be the case, but please make sure you tell somebody before you do it, because as I say, that's a danger sign. You know, don't take off your hand while you're trying to do something. Alright, next thing is, the con is, I'm not entirely happy with the muzzle brake on this. Yep, it's fairly well cast. It's even got the hole in the end sort of partially drilled out, just needs to drill onto it. But I'm not happy that it's the gaps aren't in there and I'd have to drill it all out. However, I got a plan. Yeah, and here's the plan. So for a start, I have revealed to you the first part of my build. So one tiger, two tigers, three tigers. So there we go, here's my tiger zug. So Rex wanted a tiger, so as a bit of a present I gave him the plastic one, because I knew that I wanted this early production one so I could play in Tunisia, Sicily, stuff like that. So these here are going to be assembled and done up so they could be a SUG, one basically being an older vehicle and then the others being added to that unit as time's gone on. But Rex has recently challenged me, those who listen to our podcast, which is forthcoming, will be able to hear this, to doing two of these. So this is the start of one of my two Tiger 2s, the King Tigers. So we're doing that for the scenario which I've spoken about before on my last Horde video, big game hunting, as well as the fact we would want to get into some of these specific scenarios and have some fun with them. So that is the first one underway, and of course that leaves me in a nice position because it leaves me a few extra parts that I need. And if I bring this into the screen, now here is the two main armaments you get with that King Tiger. And if I put that next to that, you can see that the muzzle brake on the main armament that you get on the what we call a Porsche turret variant is exactly the same as the one on the Tiger 1H. So my plan is to cut that off and pin it onto the metal one, and yeah, really going into detail there, so I'm not settling once again for something that I'm not completely happy with. The remainder of the plan then is to assemble this Tiger 2 as the other variant, and the Henschel turret that we call it, and then for the second King Tiger, which I have purchased and is on the way to me, to turn that one into again a Henschel, but also construct with the spare parts the Porsche turret, what we call a Porsche turret. And when I do that, I'm going to record it and get my findings to you guys at home so that you can work out a way you can best do it yourself. Obviously you're only going to have one body, but it just creates a bit of variation in your army. You can change them out. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. You can see all the lovely spares there for on the metal bits, the smoke discharges, the FIFO air filter, all that good stuff for the Resin Tiger. I'm really looking forward to getting it together, really looking forward to showing you the progress, and yeah, I'll give you an update as this goes on. It's part of my challenge. The challenge is to get those 2 King Tigers done before the end of March, and hopefully that Resin Tiger will get brought along with it at the same time, because the 2 builds really are living and breathing next to each other. So thanks very much, thanks for watching. Hope some of you have enjoyed seeing that. If you haven't seen what the Tiger 1H early production by Warlord is like, some real pros and cons there. I think it's probably the best balance if you want an early Tiger. Probably the best balance of pros. A little work to be done, but I pointed some of that stuff out to you. But yeah, I think it's a really good investment. I'm looking forward to getting it together and showing you. Thanks guys, tune in soon for another exciting installment of that build, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.